Hi, everyone. My name is Samuel. I'll be your host for this lightning talk. Welcome to my webinar. This is including security in DevOps. So I'm an AppSec engineer, Checkmarks. I'm working here for 8 months now in the managed service unit. Checkmarks is an Israeli company. We develop several products that prevent and help to increase the security of our application type during its development life. And we are also Gartner's leaders currently in this year as well. We besides developing commercially, we also give some love back to the open source world. So in my unit, we help customers implementing security programs using today's best DevOps SecOps practices. A lot of our time and focus is spent working directly with DevOps teams and supporting them to implement and use our several tools in their software development lifecycle. So I'll be sharing some tips and best practices on how to successfully implement security measures in a DevOps environment, from the first line of code through to a live application. This information was gathered throughout time with our customers. So I believe everyone knows what DevOps is about, but what is DevOps and security all about then? So very quickly, everyone knows here that DevOps raised from the agile ashes, let's say. So in the past, everything was very formal and slow. Releases took months to come out, so there was the need to increase productivity and competitiveness. Then agile took over the world. So that's how also DevOps was born. So it was born to adapt and cope to deployment cycles and the deployment cycles to it, meaning that it needs to reduce the time to market and deployments release cycle efficiently. So it was a culture change for everyone, but the problem is, or was, that security is still a bit lagging. So it is perceived as slow-paced and cumbersome for agile processes from lots of companies and organizations. So given today's globalization and internet democratization, security challenges are at the heart of the discussions, and the organizations are trying to catch up, trying to meet the security compliance demands, and they are trying to search for the holy grail of productive security tools. So here you can see that besides DevOps being an agile process, quick integration, automations and tools centric, security is all about protecting businesses, hardening systems and processes, build awareness, and DevOps education currently. So you may know some of these attacks and vulnerabilities that application threats are currently proliferating, right? So this is what organizations are facing ever. But especially nowadays. So these are just a few examples of recent attacks to known applications. A few of these issues were found in time by Checkmarks, and some few other with other company teams. These are just plain simple, easy to relate issues. The Wake facts, I believe probably everyone heard that 3 years ago about an Apache's known flaw that could have been mitigated using sec tools, most probably. Amazon Alexa eavesdropping flaw that would have let hackers in. Checkmarks found an interesting flaw within it that would allow anyone to spy on Amazon Alexa's users. Android camera security threats. The attacker takes control of the smartphone cameras and you can see everything. You can see everything that you do. Smart vacuum security flaws that would leave also users exposed because of it, and also credit card. For example, another recent example that showed up last week. It's the credit card stealer, which attacker hides in CSS files of hacked online stores. So, and it was founded by Sunsec. So given this, how does security apply to the world of DevOps and help us preventing it? So that's the main question for this webinar. So these are the main applications that we see in the market today. More than ever, we are shifting towards it. These are the kind, these are all different types that you can see in the market. So we have SAST, which is static application security testing to test regular code. You have IAST, which is which interacts with the running programs. We have DAST, which is very similar to pen testing with a set of front-face tests. You have RASP, which is a runtime application self-protecting. It monitors apps from the inside. Let's say it's from within the application layer, and it checks inputs, which is an example, and does many more things. And then you have the WAF, the usually web application firewall that monitors apps from the outside, like searching for IP request patterns for the same IP applications, and it checks like web server configurations and logs. And then you have SCA, which is the software composition analysis. It's also the OLOSA, which does third parties library investigation and research, showing vulnerabilities that are prominent in those applications. So where do you fit the several security pieces of software in the DevOps world? So you can see that you have the SAST, which is applied when developers create their apps, and you'll find vulnerabilities every time they commit their code. Sometimes SaaS tools might take some time scanning, especially if it's a brief project, like for example, an monolithic application. That's why you do incremental analysis on each commit, and then schedule full scans during other times, like every night or weekend, so it won't impact the DevOps continuous cycle. Then you have the incrementals in continuous integration. You have incremental scanning to increase speed of the scans, especially on protected branches, and you also have SCA to let you build your app and download public libraries, and to analyze the public libraries and find you the vulnerabilities and weaknesses. So in continuous delivery, you also have tools that calls Dust, which is dedicated. So it's similar to pen testing, like I told before. It's a good way of testing the apps thoroughly. The issue is sorry, lost a little bit. The issue is with Dust that's it should be split from this, because Dust takes usually lots of time to process. In DevOps, we should make it faster and do the testing with IAST, for example, here. And IAST, since it detects vulnerabilities instantly, and it's usually coupled to your testings, to your tests. Then in the end, you have in production, you have off the web application firewall, which filters and monitor and blocks network traffic. So what security do you use in your team, and what types of applications you use? Here we can have a glimpse of the current market trending. On the left, we can observe that even mature DevOps companies using AST are yet far from the 50%. Here you can see, and even SAST is only 30% for mature teams. Also, if you see here, having the previous numbers in mind, so why is it so important to have SEC in DevOps today? So 80% of the attacks are done on the application layer towards the software. So let that sink in, and now throw in those 86% of web apps market share, and you know what I mean. And I'm not even throwing microservices and mobile into the fire. So we ask the question, why do we still see so many security breaches in the news if there is better security software and strategies? You know what? Sorry. It's a mix of between lower adoption, protecting the wrong things, and trying to increase productivity. That might be the cause. So especially for the companies already using AST tools, so there's definitely a long path to walk here. So I would like to share some tips to help you start. In DevOps, everything should happen fast, seamless, and automatically. Tools should enable this pace, and you should choose the best tools to make it happen. So be sure to understand where and when to apply them. So the DevOps cycle speed requirements bring us to our biggest challenge: joining DevOps and security teams. Point one, sorry for the scrolling. Point one is to start with security teams should empathize with the DevOps and Ops teams. Not slowing down every process. It should start simple. You should experiment with tools, pick a willing dev team and passionate if you can, and apply them in the pipeline. So increase the feedback loops for learning and awareness, and engage Sec and DevOps teams with dev. So this is very important. Tools should be fast in delivering results, and secure SLC strategies should be taught to the development team through these feedback loops. So besides, you also have transparency and respect between the teams. So do not hold back security issues from each other, which is an issue that's most common than people think. And security should promote quality over compliance. Compliance will follow your security quality practices. So best practices. So everyone knows the usual: check out, develop, and compile and test and commit code. And then you also pull binary dependencies from artifacts directory. So the enhanced developers process would be to do the checkout, develop, and while developing, use SAST-IDEA to scan the code before committing it, and then pull binary and use the SCA locally to validate dependencies. So the automation practices, so be quick and agile. Don't be afraid to try new tools.
Please wrap up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.